Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor, which is due unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, V'Kar Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders, a great Muslim of the world, that's all but his truth. And shalom to the Lord's elect. Okay, the elect of Israel, starting with 144,000. And it's the brother Napash from the GMS England camp, UK. Pretty much, I wanted to talk upon, you got this NATO war chief of England who recently was coming out and he was talking about how the people in the UK need to be a bit more aware of the threat of what's going on from Russia. Okay, on different news outlets, quoting in his videos, and brothers did videos, and the elders brothers of he was talking about essentially your kids, your children are gonna have to partake in this, and all of that, it's obviously part of their agenda. The Revelation 6th chapter and the 4th verse tells us, it says that the red horse, right, takes peace from the earth. Okay, and unto him was given a great sword. Now, I'm roughly paraphrasing here because I ain't got the scriptures to hand, but when you break that down, the red represents Edom. The word Edom itself, Adawam in the Hebrew, means red. Okay, and they're a nation of people now on this earth today who predominantly they would be known as a so-called white man. Okay, they basically run things on this planet. Okay, just to give an example of some of their elite families, naming some names. You got the Rothschild family, for example. You got the Rockefeller family. You got Oppenheimer family, the DuPont's family. You've got the lesser kind of families that are kind of well with them, like the Bush family, etc. Okay, you have the presidents, George Bush Senior, George Bush Junior. Okay, different families, man. You got the Clinton family, so on and so forth. So, she passed recently with the Queen. You got King Charles over here, who are basically there on if you ever seen that image where you've got he passed away, it was in the news to say that he passed away, Evelyn Rothschild, or Evelyn, there's that famous picture of him when he's poking which at the time he was Prince Charles, he was poking Prince Charles in the chest. If you got people gotta have certain decorum when they go around, royalty in England. There's certain things you can do, certain things you can't do. So if you can poke someone like that in the chest, then you've got some kind of authority over them. Alright? You intimidate them in some possible way. Some kind of control over them. And that's what he was doing. And that's the King of England. That's royalty, which they're nothing but usurpers anyway, because England was ruled by, all the Union Jack, all of that was set up by Jake. Okay, King James, alright, King James was a so-called black man, for you to understand. You can go on Google, find images of that. Now you got the whitewash images of King James, okay, and you've also got the true images of him, okay. And normally with the true images, it will say Jacobus, it will say Bernie, I think it will say. There's certain things around them. There's like a circle around the image, and it will normally have that. Okay, I've got to concentrate on the road as well while I'm doing this. But yeah, man, pretty much. Not much, I'm going to stray too far from the point. The point is, that these are the same families that are the elites of Edom. Okay, Edom is red, because really they're the red people. If you was just, they're not white people. Okay, when you look at their skin has got melanin. Blood shows through their skin. All right, you know. Now I myself, you know, I have to kind of always give this note when I'm talking about this stuff and say that I also look like a so-called white man, but the difference is that my seed, my lineage goes back to Israel. Okay, which today the predominantly the Israelites would be known as what? They'd be known in terms of bywords, the so-called Negro, Hispanic, and Native American people. Okay, but you do get people from other nations looking like the other nations. Okay, who are Israelites. Now, what do I say? What do I mean when I say other nations? Can some Elamite or an Ishmaelite or an Edomite suddenly jump up and change their nationality to be an Israelite? No. What I'm saying is that they are an Israelite by birth, by seed, but they look like the other nations. Okay? They might have been raised like the other nations, not knowing. That's predominantly how we were raised. So, you know, just to put that in there, okay, just to say that little disclosure. Is it disclosure? Oh man. Anyway, the point is, that's the Israelites, okay, and that's the Edomites. I'm giving you a brief description, okay. Now, going back to the red horse, which really represents the elite of Esau, because a horse represents power. So it's the power of the Edomites. And what's the power of the Edomites? The power is in the elites. They're the ones that really are causing the wars and controlling things, you know, behind the scenes and doing what they've got to do. Now, in that prophecy, it said that he was taking the peace from the earth. Okay, so World War III, World War II, World War III, these are all part of taking peace from the earth. Okay, the Lord's gonna put it in their minds, in their heart to do so, and they are doing everything they can to push it towards that agenda. Okay. Now, before World War III, a major prophecy, I'm just gonna have to say this quickly, highlight this quickly. A major prophecy that has to come to pass is the Revelation 13 prophecy on down, from 16 on down, talking about the mark of the beast, which is the implantable chip, microchip. Okay, that's what a mark of the beast is. So until that prophecy fully comes to pass, where everyone's lining up in stations getting chipped, it's made mandatory. When that happens, then World War III is going to come to its full fruition, with the nukes and things of that nature. But at the moment, you just got the beginning stages of it, essentially. Okay, skirmishes, full-out wars. You've got Ukraine, Middle East, different things going on. All right, and hey, so this general, what he's talking about, they're taking peace from the earth, and they're getting ready to use that great sword. Okay, that's their military tech, because the sword was the blessing that Esau, the progenitor of the Edomites, got. Okay, that's how he would rule, right? And what's the greatest sword that they've got? The greatest sword they've got is them thermonuclear devices, them ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missiles, nukes. Okay, and the nukes of today, they got devastating power. Devastating power, man. Just one nuke could probably take out a state the size of maybe like Texas. Okay, or a country the size of France, UK, definitely. One nuke, one powerful enough nuke could do a lot of damage. You know, obviously you can have multiple nukes. The scriptures call what America is going to become a lake of fire. It's going to be so devastating. It's going to be like literally, you're going to see like, it's going to be like a lake of fire. When you look down on it, when we look down upon the earth, and when I say we, with the hopeful elect, because we're hoping to get beamed up out of this destruction into them chariots, them so-called UFOs, them ships. Right? The scriptures say, only with thine eyes shall see the fall of your enemies, pretty much, rough, loose paraphrase. We're going to see, we are going to actually see the result of all the wickedness that's happening over there in Babylon and in different spots around the world. But the main place of the destruction is going to be America, where it's going to become like a lake of fire from all the remember, it's called a thermonuclear device. That's heat, that's fire, That's how the law's taking its place out. The second Peter is the third chapter tells you that. Many other chapters, but that's the one that comes to mind. Okay, where the Lord talks about the first death, where the Lord overflowed the water on the earth, and the earth was taken out by the way of water. This time it's going to be by the way of fire. It's reserved unto judgment by fire. So this guy that's talking about war, that's Ezekiel 21:9. That's Revelation 6:4. Ezekiel 21:9 is that the sword is being sharpened and also furbished, that it may be, basically, that it might be used, given into the hand of the slayer, because all this military tech, all this investment, that's all going to be used in a full-scale, all-out war. Okay, and even America's own allies are going to shoot at it. That's prophecy. That's Revelation 17:16. Okay, these shall hate the whore, burn them with fire. The whore being America. Okay, because America's in bed with everyone. Okay, doing business deals all over the place. Now, the people over here, I was watching a little bit of Elder Omar's video, the head of our camp over here in the UK, and he was talking about how the people here really are kind of like oblivious. They ain't really like, they're just having too much fun, carnal fun, if you will. I don't know if he said it in them exact words, but he was basically saying, I remember in these videos, basically saying they're not really up on game as much. Okay? The people here are docile, man. You know? All they're thinking about is the party, going out for a roast on a Sunday, and their football teams, and all that stuff. Meanwhile, you got response times being tested. You got airplanes getting scattered. You got cyber attacks. There's all kinds of things going on, man. So we're in a time of war. We're not in a time of peace. Ecclesiastes, the third chapter, tells you about the different times. Okay, so we're going to be seeing more and more things like this. You have the draft over there in talks of it in France, Germany. Okay, military draft, man. Okay, and hear what he was saying about the sons and the daughters. Look, in war, man, as you start running out of personnel, what you start to see is there's like a quote about it. You start to see the combatants being younger and younger. Okay, the death angels out there, man. You think they care about what age you are? Scriptures say, slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children. So women, little children, old people, don't matter. It doesn't matter if you're in a Zimmer frame, don't matter. Everyone's going to get the judgment. Okay? The only ones that are going to be exempt from the judgment, to be saved out of it, are the ones that have the Thawah, okay, which is the mark of exemption, spoken of in Ezekiel, the 9th chapter. And the only ones that are going to have that are the elect of the nation of Israel, those elected for salvation, okay? Which we hope we're of that number. That's what we have faith in. So, hey, man, these are the times we're in, The day of judgment is fastly approaching. Okay, we're just waiting for these last few prophecies to come to pass, these end time prophecies. We can't wait, man. It's just a matter of time before we're out here. We don't have to deal with the shit anymore that we have to deal with every day. Okay? And then we're going to be good. Alright? And we're going to get indignation, righteous judgment. We're going to be able to see just the relief of this wicked place being destroyed, man. Finally. Yeah, this hell, this mess. Scriptures say this ain't our rest, man. Micah. Is that Micah 2:10, I believe? So, hey, man, just a quick lesson. Just wanted to touch upon that. That was in the news. I see the elder brother and different brothers do videos on it. So, Lord willing, that's an edifying lesson. With that, man, I'm going to say shalom.